Hello, hello, hello. Small check. Does it actually work? Alright. I guess I'm just having some food still, but I'll turn on the camera soon and we'll watch something.
G'day Exiles and welcome to Exilecon 2023.
Hello.
Hey, there we are. We're very excited to be here. I'm Ziggy D and I'm joined by none other than Nathal, Rise QT, and Nugian. Today, to be your official Stallcast. That's right. People are taking their seats, they're getting set up on the stage, and it's just 30 minutes until the official main keynote presentation. Lots of exciting stuff. We've heard some little teasers of some of the sorts of things that we might be expecting to see, but we don't know much about it. So we're here to engage in rampant, useless speculation today. So looking forward to getting into that. But for the moment, folks, how are you feeling? Excited, Nathal?
Yeah, I am super nervous. First of all, just to be on stage doing this thing, but then, of course, just the whole new update, the reveal, like knowing what's been happening the past 4 years, you can feel there's a lot of excitement and energy out here, and everyone's just keen to get going.
Nervous and excited, like two sides of the same coin. I get it
does.
totally.
Yeah, no, it's like it's hard to tell what's what a lot of the time because
it should be better,
we've got to
then,
do
right?
stuff and we've got to get into
Put
the
on
whole reveal,
put in the
but
mic
I
up a
feel
bit.
like it's a bit more excitement. It's still very much nerves because I'm not used to doing.
How about
something
this?
Like this, not used to being around all the people.
This better?
And they know you, and meeting the developers. It's crazy stuff.
Everyone loves you, mate. How about you, Rise?
I felt a lot better before you called my speculation useless. Ziggy.
And Rampant, don't forget.
Great.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, they're going to be 100% accurate. We've got all the predictions. It's going to be solid, I think.
I kind of threw you on the bus today a little bit. He had some stuff planned out for speculations, but I just like cut him off at the knees, so he's had to rethink his speculations his
Big
entire
Mac.
life, really, in the
Big
lead
Mac
up to this
burger.
moment. So I imagine
I've
that's
been
kinda
eating these
stressful,
like for
getting
like
up
the
on
last
stage and being in that
30 years.
situation.
I think I'm good. I've got some good ones.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. What about you, Noogie?
Excited and as Methel, pretty nervous, I would say. But we're joined with so many just lovely people traveling all the
With
way
the
to
same
New Zealand. And
haircut.
Yeah.
if there's anything that helps
Yeah,
an
yeah,
awkward
no,
situation,
Big Mac.
is just having a shared common interest, which is Path of Exile.
Right, so many beautiful nerds here
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
New Zealand coming together. More than ever before as well. We've got like, I think it was
Mm.
1,800 people, a few hundred people more
Yeah.
than last Exilecon, which I did not predict. So that's they're strapping people to the rafters.
I'm
They're opening up the
like
balcony
sort of
seats. People are getting suspended and hanging
surprised a
above the
little bit
crowds.
with like how
it's gonna
small
be
Methel
quite the
is.
spectacle. And I'm already
Or
saying that people
either
started coming in and taking their seats and feeling a little bit
Noogie
of a crowd
and
here.
Rise
Hey,
QT are
guys.
giants. That could be true
So
as
pretty
well.
exciting stuff. And yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen much of PoE2. GGG's been pretty quiet.
About
Last 4
4
years, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
only gets me more like pumped for it because you just know there's been
Are they
so
fucking
much,
massive?
like,
Really? Is it
working
that?
on, and
It could be.
they're
No,
just ready to
I don't
Yeah.
think it's
like,
not the
there's no
it's
way
not the
to
perspective,
silence
right?
it
Like
for
it's
nothing.
Yeah. The
it's-
secrets. I mean, we
it's
just
not
had like
just
two
perspective.
little
Look at it.
tiny teaser trailers.
no, it's a
recently,
massive
but
difference. Come on.
I was
It's at
surprised
least
by
10
how much I could get
centimeters of
excited by
difference.
just those little two. I like had to spend an hour analyzing
All right,
them
yeah,
just
that
'cause
explains the thing.
It was
right?
like 40 seconds of content, but it was like there was so much.
Yeah,
in
I'm not
that
nice.
that we
Like
already
I've
seen.
had
Like,
a
we've
few
had-
drinks,
we've
right? I'm
started
not
seeing
nice
things like
anymore.
new class models, at least possibly new
Yeah.
classes. I don't know. What do you guys have any predictions about that side of things?
Yeah, it looked amazing. I really liked how a lot of the times whenever you used an ability, it moved
Mm.
around your
Yes.
character.
Yeah, he
I think a lot
shredded.
of people want those characters to move forward. In the trailers that we've seen, a lot of them jumped back and all that, but I think it's going to be pretty good, and it looked very different, yeah. Because 4 years is a long time. That's like the life cycle of a lot of games, so...
Yeah. No, I mean all the trailers and the two that we saw. If you just think back a little bit about all the things we were shown last time with all the new gems and the skill systems, I feel like you can finally start seeing what it is they wanted to do with the game, just through those trailers at least. I was looking really excited.
You should open
Yeah,
up
we
the
saw
rum
like
bottle,
so
man.
much big systems changed. And
Like
something
when
that
else are you
announced
gonna
last
open up
time,
the
but it's
rum
been
bottle?
so
Let's be
long.
honest.
And I expect that something of that at least has changed a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, through any creative process, right? You figure out what works, what
Yeah.
doesn't. So it'll be
Yeah, who's to say like the skill system hasn't changed dramatically, or they're like doing something else
Sure.
with the end game, or who knows? There's very little we do know at this point.
Hopefully they figured out what doesn't work. Come on.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
stuff. We need that
Yeah,
bombshell.
plenty of time.
Second
right?
baby.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, a lot of people who played the demo previously really enjoyed it. Only myself
Yeah.
only got to play a little bit, but I was super impressed with what I played. And do you guys play the demo last time?
A little bit, yeah. At least some on live stream. But let me
that's
just
right.
remind everyone that PoE2 is going to fix everything. Right? Like, it is saving marriages. It is going to.
So good, yes.
Yeah, don't worry, Ziggy. It's going to do all the heavy lifting for you in that regard. But
PoE 2 is so good, it's going to save Diablo 4. That's how
What?
good it is.
oh, he did it.
someone went
It
there.
only
Someone
took
broke
6
the-
minutes.
Broke the covenant.
Yeah.
It only took 6
Anyway,
minutes to
let's
bring
not
up
hold our
Diablo
expectations
4.
too
Ay,
high on
ay,
that one,
ay,
right?
ay, 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 ay.
But I was just going to point out for the teasers, like a lot of it was big because for me personally, a lot of it is about the character models and the skills, and I was pretty blown away with how all of the skills look like they pretty much been reworked graphical-wise. Like I was looking at the teasers and the trailers and thinking, is that the skill that I think it is? And it looks so different and so much better. Like I'm really into the MTX and the changing of the skills and all that, and just by default making all of them way prettier and way more fluid. I think it's going to just bring the game into current era of ARPG gaming.
I think that's what really grabbed me from those teasers as well, was the diversity in skill use and having a lot more like situational skills like that, especially the monk kind of looking gameplay.
Right.
That looked super interesting with like the
This set looks pretty sick, by the
using
way.
weapons combat kind of weaving together.
Like
and
they're zooming
movement,
in
like
on
you
these
mentioned.
creators, but
That's the biggest thing I've wanted for PoE for a long time, is more skills.
if they
that
zoom out,
involve,
like get an
step
overview
forward
of
to
the
step
actual
to the right.
set that they're in,
Melee combat is
it's
fluid,
pretty good.
It's dynamic. Like footwork is a huge part of any sort of melee combat situation. So seeing that represented in game a lot more is very exciting and kind of points towards some of the stuff I'm really hoping to see out of PoE 2, but we'll come back to that in a second. Firstly, I want to hear, what do you guys really hope to see today, or predict that you'll be seeing today? Matha, what are you predicting?
Well, as far as predictions
Yeah,
go, the
good
one thing
job
I've
there.
learned over the years with Path of Exile is that I've learned nothing about predictions. People always come into the channel and they ask, "Oh, what do you think's going to happen with this? What do you think's going to happen with that?" And I engaged with that for a while in past times, but I could just never get anything right, because you don't know. Like, they always throw curveballs. They're always giving you unexpected things. I thought they're going to buff this. They nerfed this, whatever. Like, it's always it's this huge up and down balance, and I could never really get any predictions right. But that said, I think I'm just going to be blown away. Like, it's going, like, I've been looking forward to what they're going to announce, and I have sensed some discontent in communities throughout all of this, just as they're waiting for Path of Exile 2 and big new leagues and all that, and there might still be some doubt here or there, and I think there's no doubt. Like, it's just going to be a huge renewed burst of faith in, this is the game I chose, and for very good reason, and it's going to be, just unreal.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that as well. Like, people always ask me, what would be your designed league that you would make?
So,
And I'm like, I've no
these guys,
idea. I'm glad I'm not in charge.
they're
of that.
either
CGG
like
always come up
excellent
with way better
actors
stuff than what I could come up with for that.
saying that
What
they
about
don't
yourself,
know
Rise?
shit yet, or they
think I'm going off
actually
the deep end.
don't know anything.
No PoE 2, PoE 3. Okay.
On only mobile.
I think the
only
latter.
PoE
They probably
mobile.
don't know
wait
shit.
A minute, no.
They're just
I don't
there,
wanna
right?
go there.
So they combine them, right? 2, 1, PoE 3.
There you go.
Makes
That's
sense,
the,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the way to do it.
At Path of X.
There you
It's
go.
all one platform.
Wait, so
Everything
Elon
it'll
Musk
do
bought it out?
It'll do your
Oh,
banking
shit.
for you.
Okay.
Someone's getting sued. I think lore-wise, it would be really great if they just close the story off before PoE 2. So our characters always kind of like messed with the world, not always in positive ways. I just want them all gone, Blow it up. I don't know. New planet, different world. That would be really nice. Oh, and also I'd love to see, PoE has done really well with cooldown abilities and all sorts of just kind of timings in it. I would love to see maybe some ultimate abilities, something that is a little bit more tied down
Yeah,
to
they got some sneak peek, maybe,
particular
yeah.
ascendancies or particular classes, maybe
True.
some new classes, Because last time they were talking about how there's so many more new ascendancies. I think
Yeah,
maybe
it's good
spreading
to
them
sort of
around a
figure
little
out
bit with
who's
different
the
characters would be
who can be
pretty cool.
trusted and who cannot.
Yeah, adding
right?
a little bit more distinction there, like in
Yeah.
a very physical sense in the gameplay. Yeah, I'd like to see it too. What about you, Noogie?
Well, I really like Mathel's answer of no predictions. So that was
Yeah.
great. So I wish I
Cop-outs,
could take
cop-outs.
that one.
He's an expert, right? Look at that. What a dodger! I love
This
it.
really is the Stallcast.
Yeah. But he is right though, in the sense that
Yep.
GDG always overperform, or try to at least, more than anything. So it's really hard to predict what it is, like in which direction they are going. So I'm really excited to see what is it they want us to see.
You really don't care
Like, I
about
wanna
those guys?
see
I mean,
them in the game again.
it's entertainment
really
until
all
the
out.
real thing starts. I
So
get it.
that's something
right?
I'm
It's-
excited
but they're
about.
not really. They're talking
and we have
about
all
nothing,
this beautiful art
basically.
behind us and statues and
Yeah, a game.
like
yeah,
maybe we will have some kind of a narrator leading us through a story. I would really love that within
Yeah.
the PoE 2 story.
because it's like pure
and just
speculation. It's
seeing
like
what
it's a bay class
just-
almost.
So, because there's
Like
such a,
it's 3 out of
a big
4 of
office
a
now.
regular
What
bay
can
class
that many
podcast,
people
right?
bring within the title.
Like Darky
Yeah,
Cats,
that's
and
actually
then
kind of one of my predictions, actually. I expect
what's
a
the fifth
bit of
one
an
over
uptick
there?
in the storytelling side of things.
Yeah.
And this was just barely hinted in one of the teasers that I saw, where the character
They
really
did, yeah,
felt like they
yeah.
were interacting a little bit more with what was actually happening around them. Like in current PoE 1, you get your character kind of tossing out a cute throwaway line every so
no,
often.
they are the
But the
OGs.
character
I
in
get
one of those
that.
teasers
I
was
get that.
actually kind of like addressing one of the other
I started playing
NPCs
PoE,
there
or
and having,
sorry,
like, a little
last
bit more
Epoch because of
interaction with the environment.
sponsor
I'm
stream from
I'm excited
Ziggy.
for a potential,
Ziggy did
improvement in
a
the
sponsor
storytelling
stream
side
of
things
last
there,
Epoch,
especially
and
with the like
it made me
flavor
play
using that we
last
saw
Epoch.
in previous
Oh, it's Captain
iterations
Lance?
of the PoE 2 stuff that we're
And
seeing.
Grimro,
And yeah, there's some
really?
stuff behind us. I don't really know what to,
Oh,
you
I
guys
should
can't
watch it
see
again
the top
then.
of this.
I kind of
There's
stopped
like a
watching
giant
it.
blood creature, and there's a creepy head up there and a spine.
You're right, because the others weren't
Yeah,
playing
the
anymore,
bar-
right? Wasn't
they
that the
blended away
whole...
with the, decorations
Like they
this
were
year.
only playing Lost
A little
Ark,
smoky in here
weren't
too,
they?
I didn't see that.
That did actually make me think one of the things I would love to see and always hope to see is cutscenes. So like,
Yes.
it helps build you into the world, into the story, and immerse yourself in that, and really like get invested and care about the story. And I think, this is possibly,
Yeah, exactly.
if ever,
Lost
the time
Ark
for them to have big
fanboys.
cutscenes, and that would just be amazing, I think.
Yeah, that would be
But good
cool.
to see
Even
they're
if
back.
it's cutscenes, the one.
Like Lost Ark kind of died,
It's
right?
cool.
It
Ultimately.
started
Pretty cool.
to look like it was going to go places, and it was going to be really cool. And yeah, we needed more, right?
Just kind of like, dipping their toes in the water with that one, I think. But even if you don't do cutscenes, like kind of big dynamic moments in the actual in-engine gameplay as well. And we saw a bit of that in one of those teaser trailers too, where like
I heard
it's
about that.
smashing
He even
through
created
the
a
wall
channel,
and
didn't he?
There's debris and stuff flying everywhere. That's
Didn't he
a lot
create,
more
like,
than
a-
what we've seen previously? And they started doing that in PoE 1 a little bit with like the rework to Brutus. and him
For
kind of smashing
Honkai
through the walls. That was
Star
exciting
Rail,
moment, it was terrifying.
didn't he create
Brutus
our
kind
own
of
channel for Honkai
smashing
Star
through the
Rail?
prison and chasing you through doorways and stuff like that. So more spectacular moments like that. Something I definitely think we're going to see a lot of, for sure. But
Is that the
definitely looking
channel
forward to
name?
that.
Grimro
I'm also,
Gacha? Is that what his
interested in your
name is?
thoughts on so what we've seen in the past about the skill system. Again, things could be changing a lot, but that's something I've been particularly
No,
interested
it's not
in is
true, right?
It's changed to
Come on.
being able to have
No.
access to more well-linked skills, and then maybe a gameplay style that supports using those a little bit more. So a bit more opportunity for
3,500
combat. Not everything has to be like a super hard fight, but the occasional moments where you're like, you have a little bit of back and forth with the monsters, and that gives you the
He's
opportunity
got
to use that
71
second or third or
videos?
fourth extra well-linked skill that you've got access to.
Holy
System, if
shit.
that's the way they're going.
This
Do you guys have any
channel's
thoughts on
doing
the
better
skill
than
system
his
and what you'd like to see out of
PoE
that?
content.
I mean, yeah, part of the thing you were kind of alluding to is also like combinations of skills. So
Oh,
things like
God.
Frost Nova,
Look
Ice
at
Nova
it,
and,
dude.
Frostbolt, like interactions with skills. It can be a bit clunky sometimes, but when done right and with the right combat around
gonna
you, it feels
subscribe to
really
this
good and
bullshit.
satisfying to have.
Okay.
So things like that would be really cool. More of those for sure. But otherwise, yeah, the combat's already feels pretty good, and just more skills as always. How could you not just want more skills? But if they're doing the skill linking system and there's more at your disposal, it's going to be just interesting to see how you can incorporate the different combos, because you have to make a lot of choices. You can't just have everything.
Yeah.
Right. So all of a sudden, you have to build into a few things and choose between the right things at the right times. And I think that makes for a much more dynamic gameplay. Yeah.
That's a tricky balance to find, for sure, because
Yeah.
PoE has grown increasingly difficult when it comes to sockets. I feel
So
like
guys,
back
it
in
should
the
be
day it was like, oh,
one
if you're playing
thing,
a
what
summoner,
would it
you're
be?
going to be lacking a lot of sockets. But
Hmm.
now it
That's a
feels
good
like
question.
that's the
Everyone.
case on everything.
Literally every
100%
build.
of the time. So the previously teased system of
You know,
having
I mean,
it be tied down to gems
I'm pretty
could
happy
be a
with
pretty good solution. But who
just
knows?
the
It's been a
standard
long
version
time.
of
And in
PoE.
GGG
I think
fashion,
it's
they probably
overall
might have come up with something
basically
better.
fine.
Even
Yeah.
better.
And
So-
a big problem that they identified before was like early game,
I guess-
especially gear lock-in, where it feels like you can't change your gear very much.
I
in
guess
fast
it
paced
would
on.
be
That's kind of always been a thing. And,
probably
it'd
what
be
they're
nice to be
aiming
able
for to begin with.
be able to
Like, I
freely
don't
take
care too
advantage
much
of,
about like
different items you
graphics
find
or
as
the
you
way
go
things
and
look
have a
or
little
that
bit
kind
more
of thing.
freedom,
But
a
so
little bit
that's
more
not
kind of
really
breathing room
what
than
I
we feel like we
care
have with the skills right now.
too much.
What about you, Nugi?
No, I think the game being
World.
dynamic.
Yeah, renowned.
would
Right,
probably
yeah,
be
statues.
the
Yeah,
main
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that I
yeah,
think they're
yeah.
gonna
That's
go
what I want as
for.
well. I
You know,
want
more re-rating
renown,
of all the
a
characters,
battle
them
pass.
flowing through
Wait, we
combat,
have,
and then you find an item
battle
on the
pass.
ground, and you can just immediately swap it out because you think it's better.
I
There's no
think-
taking out the gems anymore and all that. So everything will just
just to
there
make
won't
the
be
game
as
a little
many
bit more
moments where you're
accessible,
kinda
right?
tinkering while
Not
mid-combat.
necessarily
Maybe
for
you
me,
find something
but I
that's
think
really good,
for
but
other
while you're
people
fighting
to
a
also
big boss
start
and just
enjoying the
boom,
game.
I suck
I
it
think
in
that's probably
immediately. I
what
don't
I would
even
enjoy the
really need
most.
to do all the re-rigging.
Because
I think
I feel like that's GGG's
these
like
days, I'm
worst
completely
nightmare. We've had so many
accustomed
situations
to
where
Path
like
of
swapping
Exile.
out things make
So,
pretty
I don't
awkward
really
game.
care the difficulty that it
Or
has
just have
or
an
getting
inventory
into.
full of
Like,
different
I'm
items for
already
different
hooked
combat
to the
and
game,
oh,
so
I'm
that's
putting
fine.
this on now.
But I think
Yeah, we're going back
they
to
should
the
make it
snapshotting.
easier
Yeah,
on
yeah,
newer
yeah.
players.
I'm sure
And maybe
that's
it's just
gonna-
overall
we're-
quality
the
of
thing
life
is,
kind of
when a-
stuff,
with
right?
a clean slate
Yeah.
and everything changing, you never know how players are going
Yeah,
to
the
take
PoE
that
noobs.
and be
More
creative with
play
it.
styles, different weapon times. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think shortening that moment from finding something.
Yeah,
and
I don't
using
even
it
really
is,
care too
like, a
much.
really
I think
good
there's
thing.
already
It's good
so
for
much
the
builds
endorphins, right?
you can
Like,
play.
Oh yeah.
that,
some of the like
sure,
kind of more
it's
successful
nice if
leagues
they
are
add
those ones
5
that
more
have
weapons,
the
but
shorter gap
yeah,
between like
you
the
know.
content you're doing and then the reward you're getting for it. Whereas the reward that comes a long time
Wouldn't
down
be
the
like a
line after a
focus
lot of stuff
point
is
for me.
realized, that's a lot harder for a lot of people to
Mm-hmm.
engage with quite as much, I think. So that kind of brings me, we're not just getting Path of Exile 2 stuff today. Towards the end of the keynote, there'll also be the reveal of the next Path of Exile 1 League, and it might be the last ever Path of Exile 1 League. Like,
30
I
minutes.
don't know if they're going to do more after this, because there'll be the beta for PoE 2. All focus will be on that. Like, after the beta's out, are we really going to be like, yeah, let's go play the PoE 1 League
Is
again?
going to be a beta.
Well, that's.
Whatever.
Whoa.
What do you know, Siki?
I mean, I don't know anything.
Spoilers.
I really don't this time. Everybody always
No way it's the last PoE 1 League. I mean,
You're the inside man. They bounce ideas off of you.
if there's a
really wanted to know
beta
nothing for this,
in
and I was super
December,
glad that they
it
did
might be
not
the last
spoil
PoE
almost
1
anything
League,
for
right?
me, so that I could go into this completely
I don't
blind.
think it's a
'cause
year away.
I want to
man.
be here with all you
No.
guys.
Yeah,
seeing
we were
this
in
stuff for
the
first time.
back room.
I
They were
think we'll
doing
have it
stage
within a
checks, and we were
year.
just like,
I
"La,
think
la, 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 we can't see
it
anything."
might
there
be.
was something on
I would
TV
not
there,
be
like,
surprised if it was
"Oh, no,
December,
no, I don't wanna see it."
like Christmas.
Yeah, we also one word.
Two
And we're
two
like,
leagues
no,
away,
no,
basically,
erasing it
basically,
from my
right?
mind.
We'll have one more
Yeah,
league
no,
now.
It's erased from my mind.
One
as
more
best I
league
can.
in
What I can say
what is it?
is
Like
that I did not
September or
predict
something, October.
that word. Yeah, no,
And
that one
then
caught me off
I did not
guard.
predict
PoE
that.
Yeah,
2
that was
December
awesome.
this year.
Yeah.
That's probably my prediction. Although it's
What would you
it's
guys
cutting
like
it
to see out
close,
of it
to be
if it was
fairly
the
honest.
a final Path of Exile League? It might
Like-
not be. They might be doing more, but
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's going to be a
In
big
terms
one.
of
I've had
timelines, it
lots of
doesn't
people
really
say,
fit,
"Oh,
but,
they're
yeah.
probably just waiting for PoE 2 and not necessarily going to do anything still big in PoE 1 or leagues and stuff. I think it's
I'm
going to be a big
still
one.
taking a
And
small,
as
like,
always, they're trying to reinvent the
30-second, 1-minute
ARPG
break
genre
before the
to
shit
some
actually
extent,
starts.
bring in
I'll be right back, guys.
aspects from other games. And what games I've been playing that are, I think, pretty popular at the moment are these sorts of...
I know what you're going to say. Survivors.
Exactly. I call them like reverse bullet hell, right?
Yeah, the Bullet Heavens.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. So like a Vampire Survivor thing. And I think they at some point, like very early into the game, touched on something like this, which is the Coward's Trial map. So that's a unique map, and it's basically just slaying waves of monsters, right? But it's very old, very dated. And I could see that they could definitely capitalize on that hype and sort of...
I could see that,
an
mate.
entire league where you just...
If they reveal that
slaughter it.
now, everyone's going to be very...
Oh, I hope I didn't. Yeah. I'll take credit for predict it by all means, but I think that could be a really fun league mechanic for just satisfaction in
Yeah, that
gameplay.
whole genre is like a distillation of action RPGs in general. It's like just take a lot of action RPG, kind of strip them down to like the very base of kill monster, get upgrade.
Yeah.
And it would blend well, I think. And we've seen a little bit of like sampling from other genres. We got some roguelike action recently. It was,
Exactly, and yeah, it just seems like they see what's hot out there right now. How can we bring it to this game? And a lot of the time, it feels like it comes out of nowhere for this game, and it works. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't always work, but it's good. It's worth a try, and it's an experiment. But this one, I think that type of mechanic and system would be great, and who knows? Innovation is their strong suit.
I'm definitely here for that one. But that's one route they could go. Do you guys have any other thoughts of a different route they could go, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
Fixed trading, bring back Harvest, auction house.
Path of Exile Copium.
GGG's been stalling harder in PoE 1 than we have on this keynote. So, yeah, no, I'm just hoping for big bosses and a big wrap up to the story. Again, the thing we're seeing behind us, it is a little bit of a possibly an ascended Xana-like creature. I don't quite know how that works out lore-wise. Maps are timeless, all this sort of stuff. I think they might be going big. I remember last time it was Metamorph, and was met with Conquerors of the Atlas as well. So that was a pretty good combo.
Yeah.
Definitely a very enjoyable league.
Conqueror's sick.
Hopefully no picking up of organs this time.
Okay. Automatically picking up
I'm
organs.
going to call him out right now. Oh, yeah, we're getting... Because we're reacting later on to what we're going to be seeing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can call him out. Good.
What about you, Nugi?
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, a big wrap-up would make sense if it is really the last PoE 1 league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like Rai said earlier, blow it all up.
Blow it up.
Just blow it all up. It always works because what's left in the, in the ashes. We'll see about that. Or a boat league.
I mean, that's always the other option, right?
Yep. There's always a
boat
boat
and or
league.
fishing league.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had gardening. But surely we can have fishing actually at some point. And as the like final, just like a meme send off for PoE 1.
Yeah.
I think Chris still curses the gardening league.
My bad.
Might have been a-
Well, yes, we know.
Hey,
they
Raw.
do.
Welcome, buddy.
Certainly.
I don't think we
Yeah,
like that one.
D4, they
I
care
think,
about it, right?
Yeah,
in terms of
it's kind of
timelines.
the ending of an era. We're moving
But-
from PoE 1 to PoE 2, and
Yeah.
we're jumping forwards in time significantly. We're not getting a
They
whole
don't
new
care
world, but we
about
are
it
getting
in terms of
propelled forwards into the future and
competition,
maybe
I
exploring
don't
new
think too
lands.
much.
So it basically is a whole new world in one sense. So
Very
some sort of
confident.
send
like
off.
D4. I think they're not as afraid of D4 at this moment than they were, let's say, a month ago. Or 1.5 months ago, when the game wasn't out yet.
A little bit of a teaser of what's happening in
I
the
think
end game when PoE 2
D4.
comes out as well, because we've had like
I mean,
we've had some invasions from
yeah, they got it
otherworldly
beat,
entities
right?
recently, and
Exactly.
it's
Like
certainly been hinting and leaning
that
towards
they just
an
don't.
extension of
If they
that.
don't screw
So
up,
there's going to be two kind of
they're
new
gonna be
storylines
completely
getting
fine.
explored here, both Path of Exile 2 and its campaign storyline, but also what's happening with the end game. What is the Maven Herald?
yeah, they just have to build on whatever they have, and they're already beating Diablo 3,
I mean,
and they're
not really,
already
like, how
beating
much
Diablo
bigger can you
4,
go?
right? Like
I know,
it's,
right?
it's not
Like
even
wearing a
close.
like you start out on the beach and you got a driftwood club, right?
Given
And
a certain
then you're
audience,
slaying
I
the
suppose.
cosmic
Right,
entities
it's not
from
clear.
that's what I
Diablo
think's rather interesting,
has
is
a bit of
that,
a different,
we have Path of Exile 1,
target
really
audience
maybe too
than
big,
Path of
killing all the
Exile, but
gods.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
in terms
that's
of the
like
actual
storytelling
ARPG
thing is like
fans,
you get to that point, and
it's not
like,
even close.
okay, you got to kind of pull it back a little bit, and it looks like
Yeah.
we might be going a little bit more humble, a little
I
bit more
agree,
grounded for the start
Zipue.
of PoE 2, and I think that's
You
really
think?
cool. Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
So.
man.
Yeah,
PoE
and it's
2,
already been
like,
running
being able
for
to pull
10
down to
years, right?
something more of a grounded
I mean,
story,
didn't
or
this
something
whole
a
thing
little
start
grittier,
in
maybe a little bit less
2013?
crazy over the top, and then
The
contrasting
Con,
that
the
maybe
Diablo
with the end
Founding
game being a
Fathers.
different thing.
Yeah,
Because they've
it's
always
true,
been a little
actually,
bit separate,
yeah.
right? Like you have the story of the campaign,
Yeah,
you get
the
into end game,
Breivik
and then it's its own
boys
separate story that's
and,
evolved separately
Schaefer,
and along a different
yeah.
timeline with some weird, wacky stuff when you start to think about which exiles were where and which exiles we're playing now and which exiles we're playing before and how they incorporated the
Yeah.
story. It's kind of like a wild system that is difficult to explain to non-PoE players, perhaps.
I can fully
even
expect,
two PoE players, it's difficult. to
Oh,
explain.
yeah. I can fully expect a new world and everything. Just, oh, well, if they kind of close it off in a way with a big bang, maybe it's like kind of a reset and then we keep going further and further. I'm kind of hoping for that because you were speaking very confidently
Yeah.
about the beta and maybe no new world. Maybe we're going to do an invasion
I
of
agree.
the world of
I agree.
wherever
They
Maven's
could.
from and all that. would
I
love
mean,
to
but
see
they
that big,
they have realized
big,
for
mighty
years,
boss
right?
battles. I
I've
think
heard
PoE has been
Chris
doing
Wilson
really well
talk
with
about
that.
this for
And
years.
they're ramping it
that
up every time. So
one of the main
the more of
issues
that,
of
the
Path
better.
of
Because it
Exile
used to be a
is
little bit
its
disjointed too,
accessibility.
you know, back in the day, it was like, oh, you could do this boss or you could not. But now
I agree with that as
they're
well.
tied
They can
into
exist
the
together.
main gameplay, and
But I think,
really love
ironically,
that. I think it's really great.
they will
Yeah,
exist
I
in
think
the
boss
same
sequences has
way
been getting
that
better
like
and better, and those,
PoE
like,
and Diablo
spectacular
3
moments
have
of those big boss
existed.
fights have become
since
both
Diablo
the, like,
3
the thing
was
that propels you
live,
forwards in
which
chunks
is
through the
you
game
play
and through the
Diablo
end game,
3
and then
for a week,
also the big goals too,
and
like
then
take
you-
on these
you
various
play
bosses
PoE
and the
for a
uber bosses
month
behind them. We have so much
in that
there
ratio.
in Path of Exile, and that's been getting better and better. And from what we've seen in the
'Cause
past, the bosses in Path of
Season
Exile 2 campaign
1,
look
like
awesome.
it added
Like
almost
the previous
nothing,
demo,
right?
like the Devourer and those very boss fights that look like more interesting arenas, more interesting fights, and that's something I hope to see a lot of today. Hopefully, is like some cool boss fights. I know we've got like 30 minutes or something of gameplay time live on stage.
I'm so not interested in
Spoiler.
boss fights. I think that's one of the like least,
And
or
also
potentially
difficult
least
gameplay,
interesting
right?
things
Yes.
in an
Yeah,
ARPG.
they
like
ramped it up.
I don't
You
care
were
about boss
mentioning,
fights
Rise,
at
you heard
all.
something about that.
Yeah, the
Do you guys
difficulty is
care
supposed
about
to be
boss
through the
fights?
roof. So if you're a player that's a little bit
Like, is that a
concerned about
reason
what
to
you're going to be
play a
seeing
game?
here, if you're a father of 17 children and you've got the dishes to do and you can only play 20 minutes a month, I think don't worry about it too much. I think there's going to be plenty of gameplay for everybody.
Yeah, you won't run out anytime soon in that situation.
I think so. Well, I hope so.
Any, we're almost to wrap up time and moving over to the main stage, but any final thoughts that you guys want to throw in? Anything you hope to see or anything like that? We've got 2 minutes, Noogie.
You thrown to me?
Yeah.
Final thoughts? I just want to see passion.
Yeah.
I just want to see passion and just people just giving us everything they've been building. It's predictions. I really at this point I just don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe an MTX. I'd like
Fashion
to
is
see
the
a
reason.
Toucan. You know?
Toucan?
Yeah,
Fashion is the reason you're playing the game.
What about you, Maple?
I will just love to see a nervous Chris Wilson up on stage.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
for as much nerves as I'm having right now, like doing this sort of thing and waiting for the reveal, it pales in comparison to getting on stage and revealing everything for the past few years and just seeing someone so excited about their game.
Yeah, I know they're all like super excited, but also super nervous. I saw a lot of them before, and yeah, you can feel that excitement. Rise, any closing thoughts, mate? Before we sprint over so we get our seats.
Yeah, absolutely, Dad. I mean, everybody from the GGG side has felt really, really excited. We were trying to get them drunk at some of the parties. They weren't having it. They're well trained.
Ah, no spoilers.
Yeah, really, they weren't giving us anything.
No.
Fashion is
That's good,
style,
though.
making it cool.
More so than last time,
yeah,
even.
Yeah. All right.
Also, I've got to remind you folks, if you're watching
Diablo
live
4
on
does
Twitch, don't
that
forget
better
to
than
connect
PoE,
to your
though.
Twitch and Path
At
of
the
Exile
moment,
account so
at
you can
least.
get drops access to. Was there like a cool hideout or something like that, or do we only get that? I don't know if I'm teasing.
There were
people.
some really nice wings and
Yeah.
a portal.
Yeah, great.
I think so. But yeah, they look really good, those drops.
Excellent. Yeah, so make sure you hit that up. We're just about to go over to the live stage, and I can't wait to see what we're going to see from Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1. It's been very exciting. Thanks for hanging out with us for the Stall cast. I'm Ziggy D with Mathel, Rise, and Noogie. We'll sprint back over here just after the keynote is finished. There is not much time left, so see you fine folks over there in just a moment. Thank you very much.
D4 bad.
It's come on, man. Fair enough. The music, though. The music is so good at this game as well. Yeah, history. Well... Okay, Chris. Let's go, buddy. I am really curious, like, what's gonna come up. Release dates. It's probably not gonna release this year. I just had a little bit of think about it. Like the beta this year, that's pretty likely, right? But the actual PoE 2 this year, that would be nuts. But then 1.5 years from now, and then announcing it now, I don't know. All right, let's go, guys. Let's see.
Hey guys, how's it going? Perry in here.
Hey, Crib.
And welcome to Exilecon! Thank you all so much for joining us here in New Zealand. It's quite a journey. Thank you guys for joining us online. It's going to be a fantastic show. So you guys want to learn about what's coming up in Path of Exile? Yeah. Oh, you do? Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, before we get to the people that are best to deliver that information, before we get into Path of Exile's wonderful future, let's take a moment to go over all the wonderful things we have already experienced in Path of Exile. Let's take a moment to check out Path of Exile from the past.
Life is fleeting.
A worthy opponent. Go with God. Death to sin.
Yeah, it's a post-mortem, exactly. I've never seen any of these trailers, by the way. That's Siri.
Let me bend your ear for a moment.
I've only started playing like by PoE in like Betrayal League, which is like 4 or 5 years ago or something. So a lot of this stuff I've never seen as a league. Like Talisman used to be a league, now it's just an item.
Let me tell you the future.
Gaze into the abyss.
Maybe they'll do Betrayal. It's a significant league, you would think. Betrayal.
What in damnation have you done?
Kitava only existed in 2017. No, right?
Ready, exile?
Bestiary.
Let's make history.
Delve. Still wasn't playing at this point. Yeah, Betrayal. Alright, 2018. Okay, so I've been playing since 5 years apparently. Yeah, Synthesis, played this one, and then I've played everything basically after this. Okay, so it's not too bad, I guess. Legion, yeah, sure.
It's branching exile!
Still sane, exile.
It's crazy how many of these things actually, like, ultimately remained into the game, right? All of these systems are still in the game.
This one should be rather
All of them.
legitimate. Does the toy wish to play with me?
Which is crazy if you think about it, because Diablo 4 explicitly says that they're not designing to keep stuff in the game, which is such a massive error, right?
Nations incoming!
Whereas here, it's the exact opposite. Making the game so much fun.
I've become too weak to sustain the blood crucible.
I hope Sentinel comes back at some point. Like, Kalandra wasn't amazing, but Sentinel was pretty good. Do not add so more. I mean, come on, man, it's too easy. But it's also true, right? I think I'm gonna make a video about it, actually. I've been thinking about it quite a bit. Is it like... Oh, it's 1440p, okay.
Thou creatures.
There he is, boys.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to Exilecon 2023. It feels like just yesterday that I was here on stage at Exilecon 2019 announcing Path of Exile 2. Since then, we have worked tirelessly on the content we're going to show you this weekend. To everyone here in person, thank you so much for coming out to join us. It honestly feels so good to know that people love Path of Exile so much that they fly across the world to come and celebrate it with us in person here. I really hope you have a great trip and make the most of your time in New Zealand. Our last Exilecon was a magical experience, and we've tried to go above and beyond in every way this time. If you're tuning in online to watch the live stream, thanks for joining us also. I wish you could all be with us here, but to ensure you have the full Exilecon experience, we have made sure to include every talk and session as part of the 2-day live stream this weekend. Twitch drops are enabled for the live stream, but if you're here in the audience, you'll automatically get them when you redeem the microtransaction code in your swag bag, so no need to stream it from your phones while you're watching. You'll also receive the attendee-only Exilecon 2023 hideout. We have so much to share with you this weekend, and let's just get right into Path of Exile 2. I'd like to introduce Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts, game directors of Path of Exile 2.
Okay, it's good they're getting right into the meat of it. Like I think they understand very well what everybody's looking for here, right?
Hey guys. Well, Chris has been running Path of Exile 1. Mark and I and over 100 other developers have been hard at work on PoE 2. And honestly, the project has become much bigger than we expected when we announced it in 2019. It's been almost 4 years since then, and so it's about time we showed you what we've been working on. Oh, hang on. Okay. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. When we announced Path of Exile 2 at Exilecon 2019, we told you guys that we were releasing it as an expansion to PoE 1 and that both campaigns would be playable in the same game client with a shared endgame. But PoE 2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a new campaign. It has entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs. Not to mention revamps of most of the PoE 1 League content. This thing is just freaking huge. There was a point when we realized that our plan to replace PoE 1 with PoE 2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2 will be separate with their own mechanics, balance, endgames, and leagues. But it's still a shared platform. Your microtransactions are available across both games. Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them. You can't transform into a bear in PoE 1, so a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work. But you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs. So with that in mind, we'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE 2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live gameplay demo after all.
Oh, that's weird, right? That was not the idea. So they're gonna be 2 actually separate games.
All right.
That's really unexpected. I'm not sure what to think about this.
The gods caused all this.
I mean,
no.
it fixes a shitload of balance
After
stuff.
Oriath was destroyed, I traveled, searching for answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation.
You'd think they get into it more, right?
It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me.
Now we're getting much more. Okay, like 5 extra classes. A Javazon, yeah. Yeah, a Huntress I think it was called. It does look so good though. pretty clear as well, right? In terms of like visual clarity. Still no centered UI. $1,500 passive skills. 36 ascendancy. Holy shit. How many do we have now? 15, right?
This world
Right?
will
18?
be reborn, no matter the cost.
No, 15 plus 1.
All right, Mark, your turn now. Welcome to Path of Exile 2. We'd like to start off by showing you some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here in the jungle depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the Vaal civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it using one of the 6 new character classes called the Monk. In PoE 1, we had 1 character class for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have. Being a spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it just doesn't really sound like something a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design a new character class to explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress. And on Dex Int, you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in a way that only that class has access to. But they both start at the same location on the passive tree. The quest rewards you are offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class. But of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
I don't really mind that it's not a centered UI, to be honest. Like, but the bigger your screen, the worse
Looks
it
like
gets,
we've come
I
across
guess.
the boss for this area. In PoE 2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics.
I like the impact that this has, right? A bit of screen shake. Quite telegraphed attacks as well. But the whole chill mechanic is still the same.
As you've been watching from Mark fighting here, you probably noticed that melee combat in PoE 2 is a very different feel than before. We've done a lot of things to add mobility to combat. Practically every melee skill in PoE 2 has some kind of movement built into it. But the Monk in particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
Wait, did he just pick up gold?
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough
he's
life
picking
for
up
Cull
gold.
Killing Palm. Successfully executing the Cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the Monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges. One of the great things about this skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill right at the point where you need it. We've done a huge amount of work in PoE 2 to make
No,
using
it's
skills
auto
like this
pickup,
feel
but the thing is
satisfying.
gold.
If
PoE
you're
doesn't have
accidentally
gold.
targeting slightly off the monster,
Right.
the skill will automatically lock onto the colorable target and it will even do
So,
a small amount of
so are they
pathfinding
getting
around
rid of
obstacles.
the currency
We really want to
system?
make sure that when you've got an opportunity to
They're
use
gonna
this
go
skill,
into gold?
nothing is going to get in your way.
Like
One
auto
of the-
pickup is.
Once you have some power charges, you're going to need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But if you do it with power charges, it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of extra projectiles.
That's cool.
One
if
thing
you
to
have
notice
skills
here is
like
that,
that.
like almost every melee skill in PoE 2, Falling Thunder has a little bit of extra movement built in, just in case you need it. Use the skill within range, and you just do the flip in place. But use it at a larger range, and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty. In PoE 2, you also get a short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction? Now, in order to get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower life monsters into a colorable range. You've got a few options if you want to charge right in. Whirling Assault is great. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground. And notice how you can turn as you do it? Generally speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE 2. If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits on the monsters, getting them in range of your cull. Follow up with a Killing Palm, and then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder. We've now entered the Vaal Mechanarium. This is the place where the Vaal built the various constructs that they relied on to power their civilization.
Now this is a find! A Vaal ruin that hasn't been looted? I wonder why nobody's been in here before.
One useful feature we've added is the
Not the
ability
same
to call
voice
on
actor,
NPCs
pretty sure.
to where you are to give you more information or help you with quest objectives, rather than always having to go back to town. In this case, we've called in Alva to find out what to do.
This mechanism, if powered with a small soul core, it could open that door. There should definitely be soul cores somewhere around here. They had to power these constructs somehow.
As Alva just said, we need to find a small soul core to open this door. Let's explore.
Get back!
If you want to shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a great option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back, so it's a great option for keeping smaller but higher damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back, so trying to push back some giants isn't going to be as effective. And there's the soul core. Let's get back to the door.
I like the design of like this whole area. It is still reminiscent of the sort of currently existing Vaal temples, but it looks so much better. The lighting is pretty insane, actually. Like, this definitely rivals Diablo 4 graphics, if not exceed them. Like, it's on a live stream, so it's not gonna look as good. But if you play this on your own monitor...
Now, if you need to defeat tougher enemies, it might be time to break out some of the ice skills in the monk's arsenal.
I can't get over the fact they
Cascade
got
creates a wave
gold,
of ice
guys.
to move slowly in
Like,
front of the player. It's pretty ineffective against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave, and so a lot of monsters will just walk right by it. But if you can find a way to make a monster stop at just the right place, it can be very effective. In order to do that, you're probably going to want to freeze some monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage at the first 2 hits, but attack 3 times in sequence and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with the freeze, then roll back and finish the job with Glacial Cascade. Now, remember how Glacial Cascade is that extra damaging spike at the end? If you hit a frozen enemy with that spike, it shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage. This is a really great combo against bosses, as you'll see later. Oh yeah, and I've just been casually mentioning rolling around. Did I forget to mention that in PoE 2 we added a dodge roll to every character?
Yeah.
Just press spacebar at any time to roll.
Yeah, that's what Diablo has too. And
There's
Volsung,
no
right?
cooldown and no limitations.
There's no cooldown? Really?
And it even has pathfinding in it, so you don't get stuck on anything. When you...
I mean, yeah, sure, dude.
When you dodge roll, you're not invulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it, but most things aren't going to hit you. And that's because while you're rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll have to roll out of the way of a slam that has AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another important function of dodge roll is it lets you cancel out of any skill at any time. This makes it so you don't feel like you're getting stuck during a long animation when something's about to hit you. It really changes how skills with longer attack and cast times play, and makes dodge roll a very reliable feeling way to avoid attacks. So that's one way to get out of the way of damage, but the monk specializes in mobility, so it would make sense that he would have some more. Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat built right in. You move backwards and throw out a cold attack with a significant freeze. A great thing about this is that it puts you at a good distance to follow up with a Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage.
It looks good. It looks very good, actually.
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is a palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on the target. Kill or deal enough damage to the target and the bomb will explode, doing some damage and a significant freeze. It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off. But you still really want to use Glacial Cascade to get the damage bonus.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky to figure out the higher level. It's also difficult to see like what level this character is, right? But it's Act 3, so
it's a monk skill and another skill that consumes
like level
power
24
charges.
or something.
If you've played PoE 1 before, you know what to expect.
Oh yeah, shit. Nice.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights, if you were able to get some power charges beforehand.
It used to work on frenzy charges though, right? Not on power charges. Unless you have a unique for that, I think, but yeah. You can see which enemy has power charges, by the way, that's also new. Right, the enemy has the power charge, you defeat the enemy and you get the power charge. That's what it seems like. Which is a little strange, but... Oh, you put in the core. Alright. I love the lighting. The lighting looks so good.
Here we have Blackjaw, former overseer of the Mechanarium. When the Vaal fell, he was turned to stone and now guards the area. In order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools in the monk's arsenal, especially the combo of Freeze and Glacial Cascade. Now, if you're a PoE 1 player, you might think you can't rely on Freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it. But in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, Freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes the target, or it doesn't. What this basically means is that in PoE 1, we were forced to add Freeze immunity to many bosses because Freeze just trivialized them. Because of that, freezing was something you could only really rely on while pack clearing, and not something you could use as a core part of your build for boss fighting. In PoE 2 though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic that you're using. It's a little bit like Poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games. When you freeze an enemy, it increases the amount of freeze you need to do to get
like
another
stagger,
freeze,
right?
But the increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means that you will not get out of control in party play or interact badly with other CC mechanics.
That's smart.
Allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all
Yeah, this
bosses.
is good. It's basically like the stagger meter in Diablo 4, or like Poise in Elden Ring, yeah. But then for a CC mechanic, it doesn't actually stagger the boss, it just freezes it temporarily and then... It also is much less powerful because of it, because during staggers in Diablo 4 you deal like massive damage. Oh, now he's stunned. Yeah, alright. Yeah, it's just, you can go all out when he's like stunned or when he's frozen. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, he's got stages too, see? Now he's below 50%, he starts using other attacks. Yeah, he starts using other attacks. I like that as well. Like actual stage boss fight. See this ring of fires is
What? Oh no! All right, let's take two. All right, so this might be a good time to mention that in PoE 2, if you die to the boss, you have to start again from the start. There's no boss cheesing. So hang on. Oh, there might be a... Are you okay? Oh, 1 second. One technical issue. Just typing some cheats to...
Yeah, going into the dev console, making the fight a little bit easier.
Back to the stream. All right. All right.
Round 2.
Let's go.
Whoever balanced that, like, come on.
Yeah. No, I think it will be, and they are already sort of alluding to this in their changes to the regular game, right? Like they've made Act 1 quite difficult for just an ARPG. The current Act 1. Now everybody thought, and I think they even said this, that they're doing this because of the lead up to PoE 2, right? Slowing the game down and whatnot. But if they're making it two separate clients, there's no real need to start tweaking PoE 1 to fit whatever the vision is for PoE 2. I mean, if they're two separate clients and worlds, then yeah. They might also allow them, but yeah, it is kind of weird, right? Like is there still gonna be content for PoE 1 then? Even if PoE 2 is out? Or are they just gonna slowly, like, have PoE 1 die or something? Like, if you wanna do like the zoom speedy play, like, should you be playing PoE 1? And if you wanna have more like this type of content and combat, do you need to play PoE 2? I don't know, so many questions, because if they would combine it, then clearly you'd have to make a choice as developers, right? Like, you can't have it both. Alright, so yeah, this is 50%, the 50%, now he starts doing the Ring of Fire, see?
Holy. Okay, do the... Oh, nice. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The animations are pretty good as well. Yeah, on par with D4 on that for sure.
Give me a freeze. Come on. Oh, hey.
Go.
He has sound cues as well.
Freeze.
Right, taste flame.
Oh no! Oh shit! oh. Come on. No. Get it. They're so good. There you go.
After this.
No. Get him. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Second time's the charm. So, Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item here called the Flame Core. It's a permanent +10 to Spirit. In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration. It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them.
That's cool.
One of the things you might find for killing a boss is permanent stat bonuses for your character.
That is a demo, I agree.
All right, now because this random area is different, Mark will have to find his way to the exit the hard way.
This is because I died. This is no longer rehearsed at all.
All right.
It's very risky to give a live demo or something like this, right? But I'm glad they're taking like that chance. Just plug in the PC and play whatever build they got running over there. I mean, clearly this was tested, but still, you know. I can't sort of fathom that they now have gold. It's such a staple of Path of Exile that there's no gold. But instead they have currency. And now they have gold? It's so weird.
Just gonna go around this way.
Need to use those killing palms more often, Mark.
There's no map either, but that might just be for the demo. Right? Like there's no there's no mini map. And there's no overlay map, clearly. Yeah. They do it. I agree. Yeah, I'm not even against gold. It's just that the having currency was just it's such an integral part of
I have no idea where I am.
Of Path of Exile. It's not even. It's not just like you can swap gold for like exalted orbs or something.
Yeah,
like it's completely interwoven in the game. So.
Died of these sentinels somehow.
Yeah. Very curious to see how they're gonna handle that.
All right. Let's go right through. All right.
He made it.
All right.
Yeah.
In order to help with the next area, we're going to call in a sorceress. I'd like to welcome Octavian to the stage, who's going to join the party with Mark, so they can play through together.
Oh yeah, Octavian is now, he works at GGG.
Right,
since
1 second.
a little while.
All right. Here we go. All right. The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character in PoE 2. While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction. Let's have a look at how she plays.
Hey, that's cool. It does look so good,
This is
dude.
the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged. There is still latent energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators. You might need to find some more soul cores to spin them up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition.
Yeah.
Maybe the golems have been maintaining it. In any case, it should still function. We'll have to remove that large core from the wall, of course, but that shouldn't be a problem.
So they've basically split the witch, right? The current
Here
witch.
you're probably going to recognize if
Yeah,
you played
I
PoE
recognize
before,
few spells.
but they feel a bit different now.
Spark.
Is great
Yeah.
in these tight passages since it bounces around. We've added a Pierce support gem to really allow it to hit an entire room
Spark
full of
looks
targets.
so good. Holy
For a more single
moly.
target focused skill, Arc is a great choice. It does much more damage than the first target that you hit.
Holy moly, this looks good.
Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be a good idea to use Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with a chill. Just be careful. Getting up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character.
They got like an ice bolt or something,
In order
right?
to help with that, though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character. They drop off if you walk.
Oh.
When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze. So it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to stutter step using it isn't the best strategy. Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1, basically every character was playing with no mana pool, so we decided to change the way that reservation works. In PoE 2, there's a new resource called Spirit.
Good night, buddy.
Spirit is a dedicated resource that you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, and Minions.
Ah, they separated from mana. That's smart. But where is Spirit?
Starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more, you're going to need to get some more Spirit, which is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a Scepter. Find out more about that in the items talk later on. Now, if you want to increase the cold damage that you're dealing, you can always use Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces enemies' cold resistance while it's ticking down. It's a great opportunity to use some cold skills before it explodes. And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with lower cold resistance is Comet.
Comet?
This is a new skill in PoE 2 and it hits pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit fast-moving opponents, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still, or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move. Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those,
the particles are also insane.
Use your free-to-cast Fireball. So where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way that we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2. Now, in PoE 1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used. And because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack. In PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up. So each staff now comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell.
Oh. I like this a lot.
Just put it on and spam away to your heart's content. Now, this particular staff is the base type that you'll get right on the starting beach. So it's quite likely that you'll have outgrown it by now. So that's why we've also made a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It has a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams your staff on the ground and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell.
Really?
Now, of course, what you're probably going to want to use with that is something powerful.
Yeah,
and
Meteor.
Comet is a great option.
Okay. Yeah, Comet. Yeah, they can't call it Meteor, I guess.
Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to cast your next spell. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast, and it's something we want you to use situationally anyway. Now, if you're facing something tough, you might need to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all your spells. Lightning projectiles will fork, beams will chain further, and you also do a lot more damage.
It looks so good, you guys. Holy moly. Also because, like, the one thing I love about this is that you know that everything else behind it is so good as well, right? Meaning, like, character builds, the skills, the weapon systems, just whatever gameplay they put in here. It's not just because Diablo 4 is just this, right? Basically, it's just good looks and interesting combat. There's not much more going on.
Mana Tempest to increase your damage. Follow it with Unleash, and then triple cast Comet to do a truly insane amount of damage.
Right, yeah. So they want you to sort of start comboing. Well, you can do that in the current game as well. But the end game and their future way of handling crafting. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters too much, but yeah.
Whose fault is that? This rare monster has dropped an uncut gem. And that's a great opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE 2.
Oh, really?
Instead of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want.
What?
Ignore the, whoops.
Oh, that's...
The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it. So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2. This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work.
That's crazy.
In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock.
Cast on Shock.
Now, let's equip this thing on the skill screen and choose which spell to trigger with it.
And this is also
I think
new.
Comet might be fun. Now, because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spark. In PoE 2, trigger gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, it will trigger really often. And if it has a long cast time, like this Comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger.
Oh.
You can see in the top left corner, there's a counter that shows you how long until the next trigger.
Oh, okay. That's a good way of balancing this, right? That seems super smart.
Hopefully you shot some monsters.
Yeah, so it's gonna trigger on something completely useless here. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And there you have it. That's using Cast on Shock.
I mean, it's good for demo purposes. It's clearly bad for the build or whatever he's trying to do. But yeah. Could you move yourself higher? Yeah, sure.
So, we found the generator. Time to power it up.
Can do that too, but like this? How about this? Yeah, so it's not reserving mana.
As power is restored to the Mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life. We'll need to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core.
This spirit
So, one thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is this character has both lightning spells and cold spells. That's pretty inefficient, right? It's a big no-no for most builds because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other element. And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems. And it starts, oddly enough, with weapon swap. Now, in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended purpose. We imagine that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is because it's really, really awkward. In PoE 2, we wanted to solve all of that. The staff Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells. But we would also like to be able to make sure that this build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now, we're going to open up the skill screen. If Octavian opens the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill. First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
That's so good.
Just take a second.
Holy moly.
I remember where they all are.
Yeah. But I could completely see what they're doing
the
here.
character will automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back and then use the skill.
Yeah, it auto
And when
swaps.
Octavian uses his Ice Nova, his character automatically switches to his Ice Staff before using it.
Oh god, that's so good. Why has no one ever thought about this before? It's crazy.
You can configure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have a problem, passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2 you can.
How?
Hopefully Mark can deal with those monsters while we do this demo. So, we're on the passive skill screen here, and you can see that we are close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see that we have some weapon set specific points to allocate. If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives.
Oh no.
And then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
Oh, guys. And we're only like half an hour into the fucking stream, guys. Holy moly.
As we use our weapon swap, the skills allocate changes from one build to the other automatically.
Kill me now.
So whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that
That is
spell.
crazy. That's crazy.
You can't do this with every single passive on
No,
your tree.
yeah, there's a
Only
limit, of
points
course.
granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization.
Yeah, that
So you're
makes
not going to be
sense.
changing from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button.
Right.
But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds.
No,
There's
it makes
a huge number of
sense.
places where the system can shine. You could augment your dagger shadow build with traps, or have a great curse set up on your witch with one spec, and then move to your chaos debuff spells with the other, for example. It really opens up your options.
Yeah.
Now, another fun
I
meta gem to try
completely
out is
agree.
called Barrier
I
Invocation.
completely agree.
This works a little bit like the trigger gems I talked about before, but this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters. We're going to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose,
this is PoE too.
the more charge builds up.
Yeah, of course.
We'll just get that one equipped there. Yep. So yeah, the more energy shield you lose, the more charge will build up until the point you're able to cast the socketed skill instantly.
Okay.
There we go. So you lose some, so you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast. If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts. So it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
Yeah, it's a little bit like cast when damage taken, but then cast when energy shield is lost or something. But it's a lot of customization already, because also cast when shocked, and then balancing it, the actual cast time of whatever spell you want to cast when something is shocked. And then combined with the specific skill points.
Here we are back at the charged soul core.
Yeah.
All we have to do now is take it.
Just take it.
Alva, what the?
Alpha's like, okay, getting out of here. All right. But these bosses also, like, they don't just have like 1 or 2 abilities either, right? It's like a Medusa kind of.
Away from the wall. Oh god. Frozen though. Good.
Frozen, nice.
Helps that we're both doing ice damage. Cold damage. He's heavy
stunned.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, okay, like a room-wide AoE. But this is just a boss from a zone. Like, this is not even like an act boss or something.
All skill.
Yeah, the particles, the particles are insane, especially when freezing and these comments and whatnot. I think it looks better than D4, and this is a stream, mind you. Like, if you play this on your own PC, it's gonna look even better, right? Rather than the YouTube compression and then me streaming it and whatever. Because this is already a stream of the stream. So that's not gonna add to the quality. It's gonna look much better on your own PC even. But imagine, guys, this is just a zone boss.
Triangle.
And then you do maps, assuming they haven't changed the endgame maps system, which you would not think they would, right? This is just a map boss then, right? Because you do a map, this is gonna be a boss that you're gonna encounter in the map. Pretty good.
So that's Path of Exile 2. These areas, as well as around half of each of the first 4 acts, are available to play at the 3 demo zones around Exilecon.
Oh.
Now, if you're physically here at this event and you get to play the demo, just remember, it's a different game than before. It's a lot harder. You're probably going to run the first pack of monsters and just die. I really recommend you read the signs. They have good advice on how to combine your skills effectively, and remember, dodge rolls on spacebar. Use it. You're just going to die otherwise. So your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, but we're still finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything.
Nope,
The closed beta is going to start on June 7th, 2024. Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming, and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're just not quite there yet.
So it's going to be releasing
December
2024.
And make sure we get everything right. In the meantime, there's a lot in store for PoE 1. I'll hand back over to Chris, and he's going to talk about what's coming up. Thank you very much.
All right. So it's going to be a year from now before we play the beta. Yeah, I was right, Sir Dice, as always. how are they not talking about the fact that they're dropping gold?
That demo is very hard for them
explain
to do
that
in
to me.
person. Like, I am very impressed it went that
Gold.
well. So, as Jonathan explained, Path of Exile 1 will continue to be its own unique game once Path of Exile 2 comes out. We will continue to update it with expansions and leagues going forward.
How?
And because accounts and microtransactions are shared between the two games, and their expansion releases are offset from each other, it's super easy to jump between them and effectively play both if you want. So I'm going off script for a second here and just going to explain this a bit better.
Yeah.
Imagine we release a Path of Exile 2 expansion, right? So everyone dives in and plays it. You give it, say, out of the 13-week cycle, you're going to play for, some hardcore players play for the first few weeks. Some people play for most of the time. We're going to aim a Path of Exile 1 expansion to come out towards the end of that cycle, say 4 or 5 weeks from the end, which also lasts for 3 months.
Really?
So because Path of Exile 2 has more content and is a significantly larger game, it will mean that you can play Path of Exile 2 for the majority of the cycle, and then either keep playing if you want to keep playing Path of Exile 2, or jump into Path of Exile 1 when its league launches and enjoy that, either for the entire period or until the next Path of Exile 2 one comes out. And of course, because your purchases are shared, if you were to buy supporter packs or microtransactions in either, they're just available on your characters in the other. Speaking of Path of Exile 1 expansions, we've got one coming out in just 3 weeks,
in other words,
on August 18th.
Oh, August 18th?
Let's watch the trailer
Okay.
for Path of Exile, Trial of the Ancestors.
But in other words, guys, you'll never play any other game again. That's what he's saying, right? That's okay.
They thirst for battle. They yearn to prove themselves. Welcome to the halls of the dead. Earn your place among us. Under Henikora's watchful eye, test your mettle against the greatest warriors who ever lived.
It's an arena.
Prove yourself in the trial of the ancestor.
That's a lot of enemies. Yeah, it's a bit of a downgrade, right? You just watch like 45 minutes of PoE 2. Oh, you can put people in. Wait, it's an auto battler? No, right? Would it be an auto battler? Best of skill tattoos. Wait, what? Itemized sanctums? They're bringing back Sanctum? Oh, thank the Lord, Chris. Our Lord and Savior. New chieftain.
In the end, only one can become champion.
Yeah, I gotta take a few days off for this one.
In the Kurui afterlife, the fallen chieftains of each tribe participate in a tournament called the Trial of the Ancestors. You will journey to the afterlife, assemble your own team, and enter the tournament to battle those chieftains and earn valuable rewards.
But I get it, right? We're still playing.
As you play through areas in the Ancestor Challenge League, you'll find tradable silver coins. Using them will take you to the Kurui afterlife, where you will encounter Navali, who you may remember from the Prophecy League. Each coin allows you to play a match of the tournament. You start the tournament with a basic team consisting of 3 warriors. The tournament is double elimination, meaning you're allowed to have 1 loss without consequence. A second loss eliminates you from the tournament. Your team will compete against 10 other tribes, and you choose who you're going to challenge next out of the teams left in the tournament. When you start a match, you see the configuration of the enemy team and get to place your team of warriors on the battlefield to challenge theirs.
This is an auto
You
battler,
and
guys.
your party of exiles will play alongside your warriors. So while this league does have many elements of an auto battler, you're right there fighting alongside them.
Okay. It's good though.
During a match, when a warrior dies, they respawn at their totem after a short time. If their totem is destroyed, then they are instantly killed and can't respawn. The team that destroys all of the opposing totems wins. If you're playing a hardcore character though, don't worry. Hinokora, the goddess of death, is watching over you and will restore your soul to your body, so you can't permanently die in the afterlife. Like that. In the Trial of the Ancestors, strategy and tactics are key. Every unit has its own strengths and weaknesses that must be utilized to win matches. The turtle is really slow
more complex
and really
system?
tanky.
I mean...
It's perfect for either defensive positioning to stop flankers or offensive positioning to tank hits for you if you're pushing through the middle. It's not great in the center or flank positions due to its slow movement speed. The Tuatara is a quick and deceptive unit, which is relatively well balanced for all positions. This version of the Tuatara has a stealth ability, which makes it perfect for the flanking position to sneak through enemy defenses and take out unprotected totems from the side. The Goliath of Night is a disruptor unit, and it's ideally placed in a center position to intercept enemies that are chasing you. You can also allocate it to defenses so that it disrupts enemies that are trying to kill your totems by stunning them. So in this match here, we've set up a Tuatara in a flanking position, a turtle on defense to guard our totems, and a Goliath to follow us as we attack up the middle.
Turtle on defense.
Our plan is to work with the Goliath to distract the enemy front line so the flanking Tuatara can get through and destroy some of their totems.
They already start with a totem. Okay.
Teamwork. Upon winning a match, you earn favor and other rewards. I'll talk about the other rewards shortly. There are a lot. You have a separate amount of favor with each tribe, and you can spend it by talking to their chieftain to recruit warriors and purchase field items and equipment that your team can use.
Right. That's pretty cool. I mean, you can build out your team.
Each tribe has specific specialities. For example, Hinakora's tribe manipulates life and death. Rongo Kurai's tribe is slow and tanky, with an emphasis on stuns and knockbacks. You can recruit warriors from many different tribes and mix and match them together into your team based on what you need. Field items are items that are placed on the battlefield and can be activated during the match to, for example, revive a warrior or heal your entire team. If a field item isn't consumed within a match, it persists on to the next match. But your warriors, their equipment, and your field items are all wiped between tournaments. You enter each tournament fresh. Your success in a tournament updates your overall ranking, which helps you in better rewards and subsequent ones. Speaking of rewards, let's discuss the good part, what you can earn for succeeding at the Trial of the Ancestors. You can tell this gets me excited. Okay. You get a reward as you win each round of the tournament, and these rewards are visible when you're selecting which tribe you want to play against. They'll help inform your decision, as some of them are regular rewards and some of them are exclusive new rewards you can only get from the Trial of the Ancestors. I'm literally tripping over my words to get to the part where I can explain tattoos. Okay. The Ancestors reward you with special tattoos that are not applied to your skin, but they're engraved on your soul. This process can transform what your attribute skills on the passive tree do, basically the attribute highway nodes generally. The regular ones can only be applied to basic attribute skills and allow you to convert your tree's attribute highways into something more useful for you. For example, this one converts a small dexterity skill into movement speed. Each tribe has its own exclusive passive tattoos. This tattoo converts a small strength skill into additional fire resistance.
Yeah, but you have to put one on every
converts a small intelligence skill into additional lightning damage.
This
and this one converts a small strength skill into one that summons a minion when you take a savage hit from a unique enemy. But don't go overboard on the number of skills you convert with tattoos, as you'll probably need at least some of your attributes left to equip items.
Yeah, you do need the attributes, exactly.
Each of the 10 tribes has an exclusive unique item that you can earn. These rarely show up as rewards for defeating that tribe in a match. Katava's Hunger is a unique majestic plate that you can earn by defeating the Katava tribe. As you can see, it grants an immense amount of life for a single item, providing you don't have any life on any other pieces of your equipment. While it's just tricky to accomplish, it also frees up all those other potential life slots to be something else that benefits your build, making it pure upside.
Yeah.
This amulet is a unique item you can earn by defeating the Arohongui tribe. It has the powerful effect of causing your flasks to instantly recover life and mana whenever you're low. This could potentially be a powerful panic button, or maybe you want to build around permanently being on low life or mana, so all
you'll
of your
never have
flask
this
usage
as
is
an
instant.
actual amulet, right?
If you manage to win the entire tournament, you'll not only receive the reward for the final match, but Hinokora will also give you a choice of 3 additional Next. Sorry, button didn't work. Of 3 additional exclusive items. Let's have a look at some of the things you may be offered. First up, there are 4 unique items that exclusively come from Hinokura for completing the tournament. This belt, for example, lists a plethora of really powerful properties, both beneficial and detrimental.
Oh, wait.
While you're wearing the belt, the property shifts around every 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen next. Will you always crit, always evade, never evade? Maybe you're able to find some ways to build around the detrimental effects to create as much upside as possible.
Okay, so you're either completely screwed or you're super powerful.
I
like
tattoos that you can only receive from her. This one transforms a 30 intelligence notable attribute skill into one that increases the level of all of your intelligence gems. You're only allowed 1 copy of the specific attribute combination tattoo on a trait.
It's a free +1.
Hinokura can also award you with a new type of item called an omen. These are small items that sit in your inventory until a condition is met, at which point they are consumed and something happens. In this case, when you reach 25% life, your flasks are all replenished. Now don't worry, each player can only consume 1 omen per combat area, so you don't have any reason to fill your entire inventory with them. This one creates a portal on death.
Yeah.
We made it for me. It won't try to save your life, but it will save you some time. This one grants you Soul Eater when you level up. It's definitely worth carrying around for that occasional massive power boost. Omens are tradable but hard to get, so use them carefully. I shudder to think about how much this one is going to be worth in the presence of those incredibly rare unique weapons from 320. Now note, going off script again here, back in the day, when we had stuff like the Prophecy and so on that let you upgrade to rare forcibly on a specific base type, we had to block the good items by putting crap uniques on the, sorry, I meant upgrade to unique. We put crap uniques on that base type so that you couldn't get it every time. Well, we stopped doing that. So a lot of the uniques that were upgraded in 320 are just the only thing on the base type. So items like this let you deterministically get something quite valuable, hence they are quite rare.
Yeah.
The most exciting one, though. Finally, Hinokura can offer you a lock of her hair. This is a very special currency item that lets you foresee the result of using another currency item to craft something. This means, for example, you can know whether it's worth exalting your item because you'll know exactly what the outcome is. Hinokura's lock will slot into your crafting pipeline with powerful consequences.
How?
The Trial of the Ancestors offers a wide selection of valuable new rewards as you complete matches and tournaments. We really look forward to seeing what strategies you develop for building, equipping, carefully placing, and playing alongside your tribe. So that's the new Challenge League, but Path of Exile expansions contain more than just a new league every 3 months. In each update, we also augment Path of Exile's endgame and shift the metagame with new gems and balance changes. This expansion is no exception. I'm going to explain the other changes in a medium amount of detail. I'm conscious that we have both new and existing players. For new players, I'm going to try to include some extra content to help make the changes more understandable. You can find out all the detail in the patch notes and other information we'll be posting in the few weeks before release. Let's start with how the Trial of the Ancestors expansion expands Path of Exile's endgame. In December last year, we released an expansion called The Forbidden Sanctum, which introduced the Sanctum Challenge League. This league was a roguelike game set within Path of Exile where you would randomly explore a randomly generated sanctum 1 room at a time, alongside your regular play.
This was one of my favorite
You'd pick
leagues.
which rooms you wanted to explore out of several options and accumulate beneficial boons and detrimental afflictions that made your run easier and harder, respectively. Not only did Sanctum work really well as a league, but it also had the potential to be added to Path of Exile as part of its core endgame content, alongside systems like mapping, delve, and heist.
Yeah.
Well, in this expansion, the Forbidden Sanctum is back.
Nice. It's so good. This is such a fun mechanic.
I've really been looking forward to this one. We're reintroducing the Sanctum as core content in Path of Exile's endgame. You'll initially meet Divinia, the Sanctum NPC, in Act 10. Sanctums are now tradable items that you can find while playing maps in the endgame. A forbidden tome represents a whole floor of the Sanctum, and its rooms can be played back to back, or you can take breaks between them and do something else if you choose. Upon successfully completing that Sanctum floor, the next floor is generated as a tradable item with all of the state of your Sanctum run built in. This means that the item stores what boons and afflictions you have, what rewards you've locked in, and how much resolve you have left. You can then either play this floor or trade it to someone else if it feels more beneficial. For example, let's say you manage to lock in a really valuable reward. The example here is a Mirror of Calandra, but you'll also notice that
You have
Do I
one
have a laser pointer?
You've one
It doesn't work
resolve.
on the board. Okay, one resolve.
Yeah. Yeah, deathless or hitless run.
This is an example here where the player has a very good reward locked in, but a massive pile of dangerous afflictions and only one resolve on them.
Right.
If you don't feel capable of completing the rest of the Sanctum from this point, then it would normally be a write-off, right? If you gave this to me, no way am I getting that mirror. But you can now trade the Sanctum state to someone else who is willing to pay for the chance to earn the mirror, or lose it. And you can look at expected value in economics, right? It's worth some percentage of that mirror. So you trade it for like 5 chaos to someone, they run it and lose their chaos. Your relics, which act as passive bonuses within the Sanctum, are locked in for the run when you start the first floor and can't be changed for the rest of the run. Speaking of relics, they're now tradable and have been rebalanced around this. To those of you wondering, we have decided against bringing back sanctified relics for now. A complete Sanctum run now requires killing the final boss Lycia in both her first and second form. She will always drop a unique relic, and these have been reworked and replaced as we rebalanced everything. An important aspect of the new Sanctum balance is that your primary defenses now have some effect on protecting your resolve. Your armor allows you to mitigate resolve loss, and your evasion grants you a chance to avoid resolve loss entirely, a lot like how armor and evasion work.
Yeah.
Your energy shield grants you Resolve Aegis, which is a mechanic that works similarly to how Energy Shield behaves for life. In light of the new defensive opportunities and learnings from the original Challenge League, we've rebalanced the difficulty of Sanctum, especially in later floors, and have worked to add more monster and room variety to runs. We've added new boons and afflictions themed around the new defensive mechanics and have rebalanced many of the other ones. Like other optional endgame systems that involve tradable items, players who don't want to play Sanctum can trade their Sanctums to other players in exchange for an item or currency that benefits them more.
Yeah.
Successful Sanctum play can generate a lot of
it's
rewards.
good that they made it once again tradable. Like, I'm not really playing trade,
but to Sanctum running and just farm Sanctums repeatedly in order to profit.
It's smart. Yeah.
Sanctum isn't the only improvement
you can make a
Trial
Sanctum running
Ancestors
build, right? Which people did.
Endgame. We're also introducing 16 new Atlas Keystone passives to the Atlas passive tree. As a quick summary for new players joining us, the Atlas tree is a system that allows you to customize your endgame experience in Path of Exile. As you complete different maps, you gain skill points that can be allocated in the tree. You could use these points to modify the behavior of different content you encounter in in-game maps to make it more difficult or more rewarding, or to behave entirely differently. The system allows you to double down on the content you enjoy and avoid content you don't. Keystones are really impactful passives that totally change how endgame systems behave. Usually they have an element of give and take and require you to come up with new strategies to take advantage of them. Each of these 16 new Atlas Keystones changes how you might interact with Path of Exile's endgame. Let's have a look at some of them now. We will reveal the rest of them before the release of Trial of the Ancestors in a few weeks. Extreme Archaeology completely changes how you play expedition encounters. Instead of placing a series of regular explosives, you now place one gigantic explosive. Every single chest or monster in the blast radius is affected by every remnant in that radius.
Holy moly! Look at the size of that thing. Okay, dude. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is hilarious.
Speaker of the Dead makes it so that tormented spirits can possess you rather than possessing monsters. Boosting your stats instead. While possessed, you can touch monsters just like a spirit can, making them stronger and more rewarding. It's kind of getting silly at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is getting silly, but yeah, sure.
Blight is like a tower defense minigame inside Path of Exile. The Cassia's Pride Keystone makes it so that Blight monsters take significantly less damage from players and significantally more damage from Blight towers.
That's good.
This basically lets you go all in playing it like an actual tower defense game.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah,
Lucid Dreams makes it so that Val's side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted, meaning that you can use currency items to change their mods. That's right, when you encounter a Val side area, the Keystone lets you craft it.
Oh god, this game. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so we rebalanced the side area mods, we've improved reward outcomes, and we've made the downside mods a bit more punishing, just to make it interesting if you try to go for the good outcomes. You may also rarely encounter a unique Val side area. Destructive play makes it so that the Maven will summon between 1 and 3 extra random map bosses when you are fighting witnessed map bosses. This keystone is analogous to the Eldritch Altar keystones that make those influences more difficult but more rewarding. There are another 11 new keystones that we'll reveal over the next few weeks. Together, these 16 keystones mean that regardless of how you enjoy your maps, you'll have plenty of new ways to play Path of Exile's endgame in this expansion. And I should note, in the initial draft of the keynote, I painstakingly went through every single keystone. It took like 10 minutes. But we'll put them in the news to save you some time here. In the Trial of the Ancestors expansion, we're shifting Path of Exile's metagame in several ways. The first is by introducing 14 new support gems, which are designed to take existing categories of skills and provide entirely new ways to play them. For full information, check the final gem hovers when we post them in the next few weeks. Let's have a look at a handful of these support gems now. In Path of Exile, war cries usually buff your party but don't directly hurt monsters. The Corrupting Cry support gem turns war cries into damage-dealing skills by making them inflict corrupted blood on monsters affected by the war cry or by your attacks that it exerts.
Okay. I don't really play much Warcry characters.
The Returning Projectiles support gem causes projectiles from supported skills to return to you, piercing all targets but dealing a little less damage.
Yeah, that's gonna be completely broken. Yeah, okay.
I think there's another example too.
Oh, yeah. It's like Nimis.
The Fresh Meat support gem causes minions created by supported gems to gain adrenaline, critical strike chance, and critical strike damage for a duration after they're first summoned. So you've got to work out a way to keep refreshing your minions, and it makes them a lot more powerful.
SRS.
The Flamewood support gem causes totems to trigger projectile mortars at enemies that hit them. This is particularly synergistic with totems that can taunt enemies, such as Decoy Totem, or one of the new Chieftain Ascendancy skills that I might talk about shortly. The Sacrifice support gem works on spells that you either cast yourself or through totems. These spells now sacrifice a percentage of your current life or the totem's life to gain additional chaos damage based on how much life was sacrificed. The Frigid Bond support gem affects Link skills and causes a cold mist to come over them. Enemies caught in the beam are chilled and are dealt cold damage over time. This creates a new tool for a cold damage over time build, requiring strategic placement of both yourself and your linked ally. I mentioned it was going to get silly.
It's like...
The Locust Mine support gem looks OP and affects attack skills that use bows and wands. Instead of directly using the supported skill, you throw mines in an arc that use that skill for you, targeting your location when you detonate them. In addition to these gems, there are another 7 that we'll be revealing over the next few weeks. In addition to the 14 new support gems, our balance work for the Trial of the Ancestors involved us revamping 2 Ascendancy classes. These are the subclasses that you can specialize in as you play through Path of Exile's campaign.
Yeah, so Chieftain?
Each main character class has 3 Ascendancy classes available. In the last expansion, Crucible, we overhauled the Pathfinder and Saboteur. This time, it's the Guardian and Chieftain, which are specializations of the Templar and Marauder, respectively. While we were very happy with the theme of the Guardian, it was falling behind the power level and popularity of other Ascendancy classes. Our changes in this expansion have modernized the class and will present you with more relevant build opportunities than before. Brace yourself. Okay,
there we go.
Path of Exile 102.
Yeah.
Harmony of Purpose can power up parties using Link skills. Time of Need now completely cleanses and heals you every 4 seconds.
Targets, really.
Radiant and Unwavering Crusade both fully embrace the Holy Summoner theme by giving you access to some exciting new types of minions that are exclusive to this Ascendancy class. We have this picture on the announcement page, pathofexile.com/ancestor for you to scrutinize. Next.
Yeah. Very smart.
While the Guardian's revamp was similar to that of the Pathfinder, the Chieftain has received the Saboteur treatment. To be honest, we were unhappy about many aspects of this Ascendancy class in its old form, and so we have completely redesigned it. You can play it now. It's basically an entirely new Ascendancy class with the same name and art and a new way of approaching its themes. Its new skills let you, among other things, cause enemies to explode, turn off enemies' fire resistance while you're stationary, convert passive skills to apply to fire damage, and have your fire resistances apply to your cold and lightning resistances. I'll just give you a sec more to read. All right, that's on the site too for you to check out. It's pretty powerful now.
Nearby
To
enemies
celebrate the
have no
release of the
fire
Trial of the
resistance
Ancestors, we'll be
against
hosting
damage
a
over
boss kill
time
event.
while you
to
are
enter,
stationary.
create a hardcore solo self-found character in the Ancestor League
Alright.
and race to kill all 7 Uber Pinnacle bosses on the same character. Note that unlike the last event we ran, this one is not a ruthless event. We'll post more information about the event and its prizes in the news before release. Best of luck to everyone. For the Ancestor Challenge League, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Shade and Disciple packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Ancestor League and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect the character's power or progression in any way, despite how cool they look. The Shade series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. All right, the sarcophagus back attachment imprisons an unspeakable evil that struggles to break free. Nearby monsters send it into a frenzy, and enemy deaths provide it with souls to feast upon.
Okay.
The Stygian Waypoint shackles visitors to your hideout in chains, yourself included. These chains are just cosmetic though, and they break as soon as you move. It would supposedly be a gameplay advantage to be able to imprison people. The Ferryman's armor set is so full of trapped souls that some of them try to escape. Moving while wearing the boots will leave souls in your wake trying to break free.
That's pretty cool.
The Infernal Portal opens a gate to the Netherrealm when you approach. This prompted a lot of internal discussion about whether using Hellfire to heat your hideout is actually safe and practical. The Demon-bound crafting bench allows you to enslave a malevolent entity to craft items for you. Be warned, it has a sharp tongue and will mock you mercilessly.
You chained me for such a paltry use.
Okay. Okay.
The Nebula character effect causes items you pick up to orbit you in an ethereal cloud of loot.
Oh no.
The Disciple series of supporter packs also
He's not even
6
commenting on it
exclusive
anymore.
microtransactions. Look at dog.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in the top pack. The Hero's Landing finisher effect summons a marble statue from the heavens to execute unique monsters you defeat. You decide whether it's the sword or the huge lump of rock that actually kills them.
Okay.
The Bell Tower map device heralds the opening of a new map with a peal of bells. Start to run out of portals though, and it will reflect your desperate situation. This is fine. The Cathedral armor set refracts light through your character, creating beautiful patterns on the ground around it. If your life gets low, it responds in kind. The Observer Diamond Flask summons a tentacled mass that fires its eye lasers at enemies you critically strike while the flask is active. Again, cosmetic. The Currency Orb charge effect lets you pick from a number of different currency types to replace your charges with, as long as you've used that currency item anytime from today onwards. Some people, we have to store it in the database, right? Some people will show they can be part of the exclusive club of players who have actually used a Mirror of Calandra. This effect also causes your charges to display in town. So the theory is you go use your standard mirror, which we all have, right?
It's true. I have one, actually.
The Faithful Hound Pet is a very good doggo, and it knows a few tricks. You can command it to sit, roll over, or play dead.
Really?
And yes, you can pet the dog.
Okay, that's good.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the Lithomancer and Enchanter packs leave the store forever at the launch of Trial of the Ancestors, so now's your last chance to purchase them. There's some good stuff in those too. Thanks for your continued support. The fun part. For the last Exilecon, we developed a special card game that encapsulated the full gameplay arc of Path of Exile over the course of the event. Players could defeat monsters, progressively upgrade their items, use currency items to craft their equipment, find and run maps, and eventually defeat pinnacle bosses to earn rewards. It was a whole lot of fun, and we've had so many requests to run it again. So this year, we're proud to bring you the 2023 version of the Exilecon card game. And like all Path of Exile expansions, it even includes a challenge league. In your swag bags, you'll have found a box of Exilecon cards, and then a gentleman outside will have asked to purchase them from you for real money. If you have any cards left, you can use these to challenge GGG staff members who are walking around Exilecon as monsters. They'll be wearing t-shirts showing the monster's stats, which include symbols for their attack and defense. Using the cards in your deck box, and those you accumulate by defeating monsters, put together one set of armor, one weapon and shield, or a two-handed weapon, and an amulet and 2 rings. To defeat a monster, the damage on your weapon has to be equal to or larger than the defense of the monster, and the defense on the armor and shield have to be equal to or larger than the attack of the monster. It's that simple. There are some wildcard symbols. It's explained on the rules in the box. Rings and amulets are pretty hard to find, and they can be used for either attack or defense. So to attack a monster, politely approach a staff member wearing the shirt, introduce yourself, and show them the set of equipment you want to use. If your symbols match, then you'll have defeated them, and they'll give you a reward and remove some of the durability from your items. They do this by clicking the card, so if you want to keep the card pristine, don't necessarily attack someone with it. It will get damaged in combat. Be careful not to waste your best items on low-level monsters. You're not allowed to attack the same monster twice in a row, so you need to explore Exilecon to find different GGG staff members. You can get maps by defeating monsters marked as gods. Take these maps to the map device to run them and progress through the tiers. On the back of the box is a list of quests. As you complete quests, you can visit the crafting bench on the top floor to receive rewards for completing those quests. While you're there, you can also use your currency items to modify your equipment. I mentioned that this year's version of the card game introduced a challenge league. That league is Delve. Accumulate sulfite and bring it to the Delve wall, sorry for the bad photo, it's hard with lighting, on the middle floor. Each sulfite card you hand in allows you to explore one tile of the Azurite mine. You'll all be working collaboratively throughout the event to delve deep into the mine, fight the monsters that lurk there, and uncover its treasures. And I feel really bad for the poor people that had to hang 3,000 cards on that wall.
It's insane.
You may eventually be able to challenge the pinnacle bosses if you manage to get really far in the card game. I'm the Searing Exarch, Jonathan is the Eater of Worlds, and Mark is the Maven. Defeating any of the 3 of us will reward you with a Mirror of Calandra enamel pin. This pin is exclusively available for winning the card game and won't be sold in the merchandise shop. Each person can only receive a maximum of 2 mirrors, and when they run out, we can't give any more out, so try to win the game early. The reason for 2 is a very typical Path of Exile reason, 1 for you and 1 to trade. All right, it's almost time to go and experience Exilecon 2023. Aside from the card game, we've prepared a full weekend of activities for you. There's a busy roster of talks and interviews on the main stage and the streamer stage. We've posted a schedule at pathofexile.com/Exilecon, so you can see what is happening when and where. The schedule also includes information on meet and greet sessions. Our special guests this year include a roster of many of your favorite streamers, but also some game development industry friends we've met over the last 16 years. We're proud to once again welcome the creators of the Diablo series, David Brevik, Max Schaefer, and Eric Schaefer, as well as Travis Baldry, who you may know from Fate, Torchlight, and his popular fantasy books, or even the books he's narrated.
Yeah, I'm not sure
They'll not only have
there'll be more
sessions, but
throughout
also
the
participating in an action RPG roundtable discussion
sure.
alongside me and Eric tomorrow on the stage.
Also, to
in order
dive
to
more
develop
into the
talks and
systems,
panels,
right?
Exilecon attendees will be able to scan a QR code on their phone to submit questions for the speakers to discuss in the panel or on the Q&A section of the talk. The Path of Exile 2 Exilecon demo is a large one, and you may want to play it multiple times this weekend. In each session, you can pick from one of 4 character classes, which start at various points throughout the first 4 acts of Path of Exile 2's campaign. Around half of each act is included in the demo, and your session time is limited to 45 minutes before you have to let someone else have a turn. Remember, as Jonathan said earlier, this demo is hard. Read the signs that explain how your skills combine together. Dodge roll is your new friend. You should also swing by the Path of Exile mobile demo at the chill-out area on the top floor and check out its progress. It's coming along really well, and we'd love to get your feedback on it.
Actually, like
we've created
their
heaps of
mobile
new
game,
Path of
I've heard
Exile
only good
merchandise, which
things
is available
about
at our merchandise shop on the middle floor. We've made 17 new t-shirts, which include a few from our community t-shirt design competition. We've created a range of 24 enamel pins. You'll have found a random one in your swag bag. If you approach me and I'm wearing a pin, feel free to swap for the one you've got if you'd like. Happy to trade. You can purchase the others in the shop. As mentioned before, there's also the super exclusive Mirror of Calandra pin that is only available to winners of the card game. Maybe you're able to trade for a full set. There are 2 new posters. One is the Atlas passive tree, and the other is the periodic table of currency. In addition to reprinting the incredibly popular Celestial Cat socks, we've also introduced the Chaos Orb socks, better for business meetings.
True.
There's also a range of 4 desk pads to keep your play area tidy. You can check them out at the demo zone. We have a limited range of Exilecon 2019 merchandise available in the store as well. Make sure to hit it up early if you want some of this, because stocks of the older items are quite limited. We have plenty of new merchandise for everyone, though, and I think I might have underestimated that. The Exilecon livestream concludes tomorrow with our grand racing finale, where 4 players compete for up to $10,000 and the title of Exilecon 2023 Racing Champion. Afterwards, we're hosting an after party at 8 p.m. at the venue.
I got a last
If you're
ebook
watching
one from the
home,
devs, actually.
please note that because there are multiple
Right
things
over
going
there.
on at the same time here, and we can only stream one of them live, we'll be restreaming 3 of today's talks tomorrow before the event starts. So to be clear, they're occurring here, people can watch them in person, but you can't watch them at that time because we're streaming something else. So we're going to restream those tomorrow in the 3 hours where it's way too early to do it in New Zealand, but you can watch them online from the States and Europe. This makes sure that everyone is fully up to date on all of the talks that have been announced about Path of Exile 2 before the important Q&A in the morning where you get to ask the important questions. If you missed out on attending Exilecon this year, we'll be at Gamescom in Germany in August and PAX West in Seattle in September. At both shows, the Path of Exile 2 booth will have our Exilecon demo available to play and a small team of Grinding Games developers, including me and Jonathan, to chat to, and we hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining us this weekend at Exilecon 2023. Have a great show, everyone.
That's good, dude. That was really good. Now, my question is kind of like, is there more? Like, are they gonna... Yeah, so we're getting back to this, but this I don't
Exile.
find
Welcome
too
back
interesting,
to
to be
the
honest.
second half, the
what is it?
post-stall cast.
Exilecon
For you, I'm Ziggy D, joined by,
schedule?
once again, by Mathel, Rise QT, and Nugian. We're going to have a
Sorry
bit of
for
a
the
chat about what
flashbang.
we've seen so far, and there is a lot to go over. While we distract you,
that's
we wait
now
for the next upcoming
post-show.
segment, which will be Kriparian interviewing
Yeah, so it's
Jonathan
gonna
about Path of Exile
go
2. So until
all
then, though,
night.
let's have a little bit of a chat about some of the things
2
we've
to
seen.
3
Why don't we
a.m.,
kick things
3
off
to
with the
4
separation
a.m.,
of Path of
yeah.
Exile 1 and 2 into separate games, and what that means.
More
Do you guys have any
gameplay.
thoughts about that, Mathel?
Yeah, apparently they didn't own enough of my soul. So
But,
instead of
yeah,
just, playing as much as you want,
I'm not gonna be
Path of Exile League, a few weeks here or
the
there.
goal discussion. Where's the
maybe
goal
half of it,
discussion?
something like that, and then maybe do some other things. Instead, you're pretty much locked in a cycle
Rendering,
of playing with both
character,
versions now, with
bosses.
new launches continuously.
There's no goal
and I'm
discussion.
just going to be doing that basically for the rest of my life. So that's the big shock and twist for me. But other than that,
Yeah,
Path of
what did I
Exile 2 looked
think,
amazing,
right?
and,
Let's,
yeah, short of what I expected.
Awesome. Rise?
Let's put this down for a little bit. And, I don't know, play a bit of music or something. The internet goal discussion. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, it's pretty much everything that you kind of wanted, right? Wasn't it? Like a decent chunk of PoE 2, like 45 minutes of it, roughly. I can't get over the fact that they got gold. That might be my biggest surprise for some reason. But I think the gameplay mechanics that they showed, right, the fact that you can basically swap your weapons and then assign specific skill points to those weapons, a bunch of new skills, the way everything looked, I think the difficulty as well, I think the difficulty is going to be super interesting. No, they didn't mention it once, like very much on purpose, right? Like there's no way that, and probably one of the goal was just there. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a very probably logical choice to separate the 2 games entirely. I think they realized maybe over the years of developing that it was just going to be a nightmare to balance and potentially to, like, they got a lot of legacy code to work with, right? If you would try to get all those particle effects in like the existing code of PoE 1, I could see that being difficult, perhaps. I mean, it's like 10-year-old code. So maybe they also realized that it might not have been so easy to iterate on that existing code base. But who knows? Maybe they'll go more into it, like why they actually did that. I'm not entirely sure. But it seems like a logical decision, and they're literally like they're not gonna stop development of PoE 1 either. It seems that there's just gonna be two like games existing in parallel, and maybe also for different playstyles, right? Because I think they might have also realized that like slowing down PoE 1 to where they would like PoE 2 to be is problematic, because people just don't really like it. People want what PoE 1 is, and they can keep it. They can keep it, right? I mean, I don't think they're gonna slow down PoE 1 too much. I think they won't have the same design philosophy. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. So I think that a PoE 2 will have a different design philosophy, probably something that the developers have felt more strongly about over the last couple of years. And they might be much more inclined to probably make it play a lot more like Diablo in terms of like actual gameplay, right? Moment-to-moment gameplay. I think that I could imagine that they would be playing Diablo 4 and are like, yeah, this is probably kind of the pace that we would want. Or Wolsen. Wolsen and Diablo 4 have a very similar sort of pace to it. I think Last Epoch is too slow in a lot of ways. But Diablo 4, Wolsen, they got a similar sort of speed, combat feel. And it makes for much more deliberate decisions. Yeah, and like you might have not been there, Sir Dias, at that point, but I also said like, well, guys, we'll never play another game again, right? Like you play PoE 2 for like 2 months, and then PoE 1 for 1 month, and then you've got the next league for PoE 2. Like I'll play like 3 days of Diablo 4, and then you've seen it, just like with Diablo 3. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to take more days off, because now I gotta take days off for the PoE 1 league and then the PoE 2 league. So that's a bit of a problem. It's more like 3 minutes, yeah. I mean, I still play, you know. Now I'm actually done. Now I'm actually done. I'm now, what level am I? Like another 51 or so summoner. I mean, the max roll build, it works, but it's just no fun. That's the problem. It's just not fun anymore to keep playing. There's just no reason to keep playing the game. That's what kind of bothers me the most. Like, it's not fun to play more, because it's exactly the same thing. There's nothing to work towards. It doesn't really get more exciting in any way. There's nothing there. Yeah, it's just nothing. I don't know. And then I actually played a bit of PoE lately again. I was like, wow, this is just... It's just incredibly good coming back from D4. I finished the battle pass. So I did that. I finished the battle pass. Yeah, and that's it. I'm not gonna buy a new battle pass, I'm pretty sure, because one of the main reasons I kept playing was because of the battle pass. But I just don't really see much of a reason, honestly, to buy the next one. It's good, like if you really like the game and the cosmetics, it's good value, you could argue, I think, because for $10, you get quite a bit for $10, right? But yeah. What did you guys think? Diablo did not deserve fourth with such a game. Yeah. No, I think somebody posted in the comments something along the lines of they've been playing it very safe. One of the regular commenters on my videos. They said that the Diablo 4 devs have just made basically a super safe game. And I never really looked at it like that, but I think he was completely right. It's a safe choice in almost every regard. Like, it's probably an improvement in basically every way of the previous Diablo game, but it doesn't innovate in anything. Graphics, maybe, but Volson honestly doesn't look much worse than Diablo 4. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Volson looks pretty good. So even in the graphics department, yeah, it looks good, but you know. Yeah, would it be? Even in 2019, like, Path of Exile was ahead of what Diablo 4 currently offers. I think. Because we saw the bit of the way they got there, right? Like, 2018 was Betrayal League. That's when I started playing. And I think Delve was in 2019. I mean, with Betrayal League and Delve in the game already has more to offer than Diablo 4. Synthesis. I agree that this one it took off, but I think if you would do a side-by-side comparison of what PoE was in 2019, and you compare it to D4 right now, it's probably got like 5 times the content still, if not 10 times, right? But you know, it doesn't really matter because we got PoE right now. It's not even close. It's not even remotely close. I thought D4 would be doing more, you know? I expected more out of it. Yeah, that was cool. I also need to rest at some point. Like, I'm not gonna keep watching here until like 7 in the morning. That's insane. See you on Discord, buddy. Yeah, Sardias, everybody else watching, I'm also gonna hit the bed. I'll catch up on whatever happened. Because this is the worst time. These like New Zealand days. They're gonna be having a show until like 7 in the morning. But I'll watch some more tomorrow while playing something. Don't know what yet. Anyway, it was interesting. A good stream overall. Very impressed with what they showed. PoE 1 League, I think it's fine. I think there's enough there to keep us interested for a couple of weeks at the very least. We'll see. The auto battler thing seems fun. And I love that they brought back Sanctum. Sanctum, I fucking love Sanctum. So, yeah, dude. Yeah, Sanctum. Sanctum is going to be so good. All right. One last time. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll talk later. Bye, everybody.